What's up, YouTube? Oh man, Monday morning. Yeah, I didn't do anything over the weekend. I was on a reset, and last week was kind of just a normal week. Nothing spectacular, nothing fancy, just normal driving. But this morning I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm supposed to be here for a live load. My appointment was at 7 a.m. And about 15 minutes ago, it's now like 8:40. About 15 minutes ago, they come out. Well, when I got here, they said they didn't have enough product for the load, so they were waiting for an email from corporate to see whether they had permission for a partial load or just to cancel the load. But about 15 minutes ago, they come out and told me they're going to cancel the load because they won't have enough product. So they're going to reschedule this trip in a few days. It's supposed to be from here to Columbus. So I contacted Schneider and let them know. So they're in the process of working, I guess, to find me another load somewhere so I can get moving for the week, because I just came off my reset this morning. But I want to talk about navigation. If you're new out here, or even if you're experienced, you got to have a navigation, right, to get to know where you're going. Unless you're like on a regular trip and you've been there many, many times, you know exactly the route to take and all that stuff, then this video won't really apply to you. But most companies, I'd say, they have their own little navigation system in their tablets. I know Schneider does. But I also use Trucker Path to kind of coordinate between the two. I do want to put a disclaimer out there. No one GPS is going to be perfect for all your needs. But using a couple of them together and kind of picking and choosing what you feel is your best route, in my opinion, is the best way to go, because I've used Trucker Path for over a month now in coordination with my Schneider tablet. And there's times to where the Schneider tablet is designed for the most, I guess, the shortest route, not always the best route or the fastest route, but the shortest route and distance, which converts to fuel mileage increase. But that's not always the case either, because the shortest distance could be up and down, back on country roads or whatever. The Trucker Path, I've noticed, maintains or focuses interstates and highways. So and for a truck, that's where you want to be. So on the other hand, when you get like closer, like if you're like in town or whatever, Trucker Path will try to take you through like neighborhoods and weird ass directions, and then my company dispatch takes me the right way. So I'd use, depending on what part of the route I'm on and what directions each one of them is trying to take me on, I'll use what I feel is best for me. So neither one of them I'll use solely, but I use them both together, which it's working out well for me. Now, one thing I will say is I talked to a buddy of mine. He's a truck driver, and he has been for years. He says he uses Google a lot. Me, I'm not going to use Google. Now, if you're in an area to where you're always at, and you know the area, you know all the heights and all that stuff, and you know what's safe and what's not safe, fine, use Google. But if you're not from an area, do not use Google, because Google does not give you truck routes. You need height clearances. You need weight clearances on roads. You need to not go through someone's one-lane road and through by their house in a little neighborhood or subdivision or whatever. So Google is dangerous for truckers. So don't use it as your end-all be-all. You can use it maybe as comparison to some other ones. If you want to use all three, use all three. But don't take the route Google suggests, because they're not truck routes, they're car routes. Now, Trucker Path does cost. You can do, there's multiple levels of subscriptions. I just did right now the monthly one for $15 a month. And I think I'm going to go ahead and pay the $100 for a year for the gold. I don't see the advantage of going to the platinum or whatever it is the next one is. I don't see the advantage of it. I think maybe you could add more stops or something, but what I like about Trucker Path is once you put in your destination, you can go in there and you can add in your itinerary, and you can add stops. Like our fuel solution systems, it'll tell me where I should stop and fuel. So what I can do is I can add that fuel stop in Trucker Path, and again, I'll be comparing the routes as long as I go throughout the whole routine, and then it'll break it down in the Trucker Path trip for me. And I'll get there, and then I'll have. And another good thing about Trucker Path is you can look up truck stops and look at how many spots are available, because the information in that app is only as good as the people using it. So I'm always updating. Like if I'm at a truck stop and it's asking me for an update, how many spots, if there's none left, or only paid, or if it's many, I always update it. and people seem to be doing the same thing. So if you're using Trucker Path, Trucker Path relies on us to put in accurate information for other drivers who might be looking for parking. Now you know how it is out here parking. If you're driving after about 4 or 5 o'clock, it's slim pickings, right? So that's the biggest thing I look for on Trucker Path, and also in your route. If you feel like you need a little break coming up, or you want to just pull over and stretch your legs, you got rest areas, you got parking areas, and you got upcoming truck stops that show up like on the side. It'll have like a picture of a heart, like a Love's, it's 20 miles away, or a Pilot, or Flying J, or TA, whatever. But you can also filter out what truck stops you want to be in there. And since our account is with Flying J Pilot, I pretty much just use Flying J Pilot and Love's as the 3 truck stops for this system to let me know about. I don't do TAs or Petros or nothing like that, or none of those random ones. Now, if I'm in somewhere like West Virginia, for example, there's hardly any Loves, and there's hardly any Pilots and Flying J's. So I'll turn on all truck stops so I can see whatever. So for me, the $15, I got another. I guess I've only paid it once. The first 2 weeks, I think, or first 7 days was free. Then I paid the subscription. So I'm probably going to go ahead and pay the $100 for the gold version for the year on my next payment, just so I ain't got to worry about it no more. But I'm curious, what platforms do y'all use out there for your navigation besides your company, or with your company, or something coinciding? So I'm also about to. Right now, I have my phone right here on a mount out of one of my AC or power adapters, and it's on one of the little flimsy Benzel rods. So I have my tablet mounted, for the company tablet mounted on the company dock. I use my phone for Trucker Path, but I'm about ready to buy an iPad add an iPad to my T-Mobile account. And I'm gonna have it mounted right above the company tablet, so I'll have Trucker Path there solely. My phone can just be off completely. Outside of iHeartRadio, I listen to iHeartRadio because I got tired of scanning every 5, 6, 7 miles when you run out of a radio station's range. So I use iHeart Country. I'm a country boy, but many other things too. Whatever I feel like listening, but mostly it's on iHeart Country. At this time of day, it's Bobby Bones show. So I'm curious, what navigation programs do y'all use out there while you're out there trucking? I mean, I would like to look into other ones that may be good. And that's the only reason I'm buying a tablet too. Instead of spending $400 or $500 on a GPS unit, an OTR, I'm just going to go ahead and get me a tablet, which I guess technically could cost more, but I can do a lot more with it. I'm going to use that for the Trucker Path GPS app, and that always updates. It'll always update automatically and be accurate. And GPS is after a while you got to buy a new one. And I know tablets you got to buy a new one too, but again, multifunction. Mainly, it's going to be for my GPS, the Trucker Path app. The tablet will be. So, anyway, I'm curious. What do y'all use out there for navigation? Let me know. Maybe I'll look into other options. But right now, that's the options that I have. That's the decision that I've made. I think on my next bill coming up on the 24th, that's when I'm going to buy that iPad. Because you get it fairly cheap when I add a line, so like half off or whatever. So I'm paying like $400 total for a 9th gen iPad, or I can go up to like $600 for a 10th gen. I don't know, but it's not all up front either, and it's just like whatever. So anyway, what do y'all use? I'm curious. I want to look at other options. Maybe some things I don't even know about, I haven't thought about. But right now, the tablet's my thought process. But let me know if I'm right or wrong on that. I hope everybody's had a great week last week, and I hope your week this week goes great. And thank you all for the support in the comments, and hit me up. We'll see you next time.